Welcome. We'll connect to our Ujjayi breath. As we connect to our breath, a breath can take us to our core, our subtle, our innermost core. And the value of that is that when we're situated in our deepest sense of core, we're our least defended, our least conditioned, our most essential. So we keep moving to core to keep tasting our most essential self. When we reach the core, there's a pretty unmistakable quality. Can have an almost electrical quality. It's one of those, we know it when we land there. Let's work for pranayama, alternate nostril breathing, but no holds. So we'll be inhaling through one nostril and immediately exhaling out the other side. So I generally like a 1-to-2 ratio. So we'll select a hand, inhaling whether it's 5 or 6 counts through one nostril, exhaling out the other, twice that. And so this connection to breath aids us in situating or embodying, contacting our core. And interestingly, as we contact our core, we move most deeply inside, yet we can most easily connect with everything. So even though it's furthest from all of our environment, we feel most in touch with, able to contact all things. So it's one of those sweet brain-bending oddities of contacting our core. Feel that these alternate nostril breaths, they move through the head space. And they move through and they contact the heart space. And they move through and they contact the pelvic space. We'll just do a few more rounds. You may feel you can easily contact a couple of those, maybe one more than another. And even if it's not today, I do recommend, I encourage you to practice embodying or contacting those areas of core that feel least visited. We'll often be able to contact the areas that we practice in the most. And so I have to kind of offer the eat your vegetables instruction of let's make sure we get all of these vital embodiment consciousness nutrients. There's a very specific quality of consciousness that we feel when we're in our pelvis. There's a very particular flavor of consciousness that we perceive when we're situated in our heart and in our head. And so the next time that you exhale, we can simply pause there. And now, the more deeply we move in to attune to contact core, it requires of us a finer and finer quality of attention. So working with our breath and working with our attention when it comes to the core becomes a very precise and fine articulation. Let's straighten out our right leg, bending the left knee however you see fit. I'm going to go heel in front of groin. And left hand, reach behind back, latch onto a thigh or a little chunk of pocket. Okay, and then with that left hand grip, hang on there. Inhale, draw the right arm up. Exhaling, reach to your right, or toward your right leg. If you place that right hand on the ground, lightly pull. And today I'll kind of shuffle in enough poses that will offer us moments to feel into the head and the neck space. It'll help us feel into the shoulder, heart, lung, and rib space. It'll help us feel into the hip, pelvic, back space. And so the invitation is just keep landing. Keep landing in core. And if you can't feel core, if that's an obscure sounding cue, do your best. If you can't find core, the core of the head, I bet you can find your two ears. I bet you can find your eyes. So we can find a proximal landing spot. And release the left hand, forward fold. So slightly uncoil, bringing both hands out by the right leg. Breathing into the back of the ribs, back of the low spine. Using those low belly muscles to quietly drain each breath to empty. And inhale, we'll walk the hands back, walking the trunk up. We'll switch sides. So we'll start with the right hand behind back. Glad you're here. Latch on and inhale, draw that left arm up to lift the ribs. So my right wrist, my right arm kind of sinks that hip bone down. My left arm lifts the ribs up. And then exhale, reach left armpit toward left foot. And just quiet, gentle returns back to the head, back to the heart, back to the pelvis, back to the core. And when we release the right hand, we'll move into forward fold. Now, when we release, inhale, walk the trunk back up. We'll set up for some abdominals. And if you need some variety with these, please remember, there's a number of ways we can create a variety. We can keep the feet on the ground. We can have the feet off the ground. We can put the feet on a wall. We can focus on the breathing, just integrating these lower abdominal components and feeling them behave in and with the breath. So I know there's a number of scenarios where these abdominals, the way I usually cue them, are not appropriate. I think that's just important to mention. Some days, some weeks, some years, these are not appropriate abdominals. So, all right, but let's presume they are for you today. We'll bring the feet up, hands behind head. Inhale, the head and the shoulders off the ground. And find the tip of the tailbone. Exhale, reach the left leg out. Draw the low belly down. Feeling deeply in and toward the pelvis. Inhale, bend knee. Curl tailbone, exhale, right leg reaches out. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend right knee. Continue. We'll do 4 more each side. We'll curl tailbone, exhale, left leg reach out. I'm mostly focusing and feeling on that low belly moving in, pulling in, down. Inhale. Curl tailbone, exhale, right leg reaches out. Pulling low belly in. All right, inhale. Finish the final 3 on each side on your own. You might play a little bit, just finding out how you're sensing the pelvis. Can you contact inside the hip bones, between the hip sockets. Do you sense, do you contact the core? I've now heard many teachers, yoga, meditation teachers that a little more further along in the kind of maturity, if you will, but a big part of these Eastern practices landing in and being practiced in the West offer this connection to our pelvis, our physicality, sensation is one of the most needed elements in these mindfulness, these meditative spiritual practices. And even though it's been decades, arguably century, since these practices' arrival to the West, I tend to agree still. That sensation, physicality, feeling our body, being wholly welcoming of our sensations, our body, it's super, super foundational. Right? And one of the big ways to do that is feet, legs, pelvis, this lower abdomen. It's a master key in. Let's find the roll that you're using. We'll place it between the legs. And let's reach the legs skyward. And so to me, this is my interpretation, a lot of this roll work is giving us a chance to feel sensation. And it might be any old sensation. It might be just kind of a universal, just more sensation. Great. And it can also be very specific. It have a very particular flavor. There might be a fear flavor, a shame, kind of, we don't know. Well, let's find out. Inhale into the low belly. You're contacting this deep, it's internal depth. The abdomen and the pelvis. Don't squeeze the object. Squeeze, you're turning on the inner thighs. Just note how that feels, what that feels like. Curl tailbone. Exhale, head and shoulders up. Just being willing to feel the sensation squeeze, or the sensation of muscles activating, pulling the low belly down, the sensation of the abdomen, or lack of sensation. Inhale, set the head down. And this is really key. Let's squeeze the roll. Find the tip of the tailbone, shift it up if you can. Exhale, the head and the shoulder blades up. When we withdraw awareness from certain areas of our life, pull low belly down, we often miss sensing. Our sensation, our sense can be muted or just numb, like it's challenging to feel. Keep going. We'll do about 4 more. Constriction, restriction, performed, chronically over time can result in, I don't feel so much in my body, right? And so part of this path of feeling and sensing our body is also a path of being conscious in these areas again. Keep the roll and we'll use it for bridge or the roll or the block, whatever you've got there. Set the feet up, hip width apart. Now, if you have a, shouldn't bother. You could use a roll or you could use a block for bridge with an object. Once in a while, I'll trade the objects out just for that slightly different width between the legs. The feet are set up about fingertip distance. Feet are in parallel. Inhale, lifting the chest bones away from the sacral bones. And exhaling, shift the tailbone toward the sky till the buttock lifts, the spine lifts. Entering bridge. Now, a couple little fine points. Allow for the head and the neck to be rather pressure-free. We still want that ability to breathe into the head. There's core there in the head. So yes, we are embarking on a great leg activation. Keep the head open and available to this. These pressures, these constrictions that we self-exert can be really subtle. And we may not even realize that we're doing it until all of a sudden we have a headache or we have a little twinge somewhere. So to be like exquisitely and subtly attuned to this fluency of breath through our core. So with the feet active, keeping the feet active, let's just check this out before we get too deep in. Inhaling, wash breath all the way through the throat and the head. Reach your brain with your breath. There you go. Good. Now, can you reach your brain with your breath without leaving your feet? Exactly. So you're still situated in your pelvis. You're reaching your brain. And we're not evacuating our body to go somewhere else. Right? All right, this is good. Let's apply about a 30% squeeze, legs into roll. You're going to hold that squeeze very consistently. Shifting the tailbone toward the roll. So you're exciting, activating a bit the bottom of the thighs, the bottom of the butt. Yep, push down, send those hips. So those are those butt muscles we were playing with yesterday. Kind of the sit bone area, the kind of medial to the sit bone, the deep groinal muscles. So stay with those. Keep, yeah. So we want to be very, Getting some signals over here. So keeping the feet active. And now, the legs, the pelvis, they may be a bit more intensified. Connect to breath and let that breath move through the heart. Let that breath move through the throat and the brain. Now that intensity can be distributed from core through the body. So we don't need to do that implosion thing where I keep containing and then I pressurize, caplode out of the pose. Working with the energy is sometimes working through different frameworks or letting that energy spread through the core, right? I think of these principles, these engineering principles of heat sinks, or how do we disseminate? How do we get energy to not only disperse, but right, we start lighting up the rest of our body. We let that consciousness spill into a little bit more. We let it start to loosen constrictions. We give that energy pathway. Let the jaw open. We can start to get that, there's a luminescence. It starts getting really, really hot. Right? There's a brilliance right on the other side of that heat. It's an exquisite brilliance. Okay, let's begin our descent. Upper back moves down, letting those fibers and muscles of the spine move quite independently and articulately. The mid-spine moves to the ground, low back, the buttock. Move that roll off to the side. If you need to hug your knees in, if your glutes, if your butt got a little hot there, you can always squeeze them in. And then let's turn on to a turn over, and we'll be setting up for dolphin. Okay. So we've got elbows under shoulders, we got knees under hips. Inhale into the upper back. And curling toes under. Exhale the knees off the ground. To keep contact with that core, it requires of us a fine breath, a continuous connection to breath. So there are some domains, like maybe some athletic domains, where you may be encouraged to huff, to puff, to open mouth, to breathe sometimes, not breathe other times. With yoga, because it's so intimately linked to our consciousness and to our sensing, let the breath grow rather cohesive and continuous. There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. Let's take that left leg, lifting it smoothly up. Exhaling, reaching it out. Now listen to that breath. Feel with the breath. Is it just as continuous, just as fine? Are we contacting the core, or have we kind of leapt out of and away from our core? This coming back to core, we're doing it right now as individuals on our individual mat. But once we get into relating, there's another set of eyes and another heart in front of us. The practice can continue there too, right? So doing this practice of how do I even feel my unique core sense, essential self, bleeds into how do I speak to this other person from my essential self, from my core. Let's switch this the leg so the left foot comes down and the right foot comes up. And set the right foot down. Gently set the knees down. Good. Slide the hands under the shoulders. And exhaling, downward dog. No rest for the weary. We'll rest in Shavasana. Inhale, step the right foot forward, warrior two. See, those arms get a rest. Watch that. Exhaling, the shoulders may glide down, outreach. Open up the hand bones. So let me just give us a quick little tour again. As you're connecting to breath, feel that connection to pelvis. The core of your pelvis. It's a very specific and centralmost depth of pelvis. See if you can get there. It won't be by force. It will likely be by fineness of breath, fineness, the quality of attention that brings us there, a cohesive quality of attention. So if you're feeling kind of frayed, just keep gathering. Feel breath through the center of heart. You may even notice that feels a bit different than the pelvis. And then feeling breath through the center of the head. Extended warrior variation. Inhale the right forearm to the right thigh. Exhaling, left hand reach behind, grab again, thigh or clothing. And just as a way of connecting back to the pelvis, low belly smoothly draws in with the exhalation. And just soften the belly to inhale. Again, these are not force moves. These are not athletic, huff, puff, blows things out moves. This is about fineness. So we get intentionally adept at catching, noticing even the subtlest of constrictions. All right, release that left hand. Inhale, press, straightening that right foot, right leg rather, for triangle. Reach arms out. You may need to adjust the left foot in. Exhale, reach through right arm. And we'll settle that right hand down on right leg. So triangle. Often, doesn't always have to be this way, but often, a place where we get a little disconnected from our feet, our pelvis. So I have these wonderful ways of feeling again. Active feet is just one way to feel again, the feet, the calves. Can you feel the space of each of your knees? Can you inhabit? Can you be inside? Can you sense both of your knees at the same time? Good. Can you breathe into both of your hips simultaneously? Awareness, pure, unadulterated awareness is balance. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. But what we do on the human level is we kind of filter it and ping pong, and we may not be able to notice that or glimpse that evenness. Knee, hip, pelvis, heart. Okay. Half moon. Bring the left hand to the left hip. Inhaling, bend that right knee. We'll set the right hand down. I'm going to use a block. Picking that left foot up. Exhale, reach back through that sole of left foot. Let's try it again. I have two soles of feet, however many you have. Can you inhabit? Can you feel the space of your feet, each sole? And now both at the same time. If you have two knees, you feel the space of your knees. both at the same time. Do you notice how if you can start to balance, you can feel that balance, that evenness of attention throughout the body? Do you notice there's that quality of equanimity? There's this quality of, this isn't as dramatic as I may have been playing it out to be. I mean, let's be real, drama is a lot of fun, but and when I can exist, when I can inhabit both halves of my pelvis, and there's no more tug or priority, when I can exist, when I can breathe into both halves of my pelvis same time, you notice how things kind of get really quiet, really still, really equanimous? There's this, oh, here I am. Inhaling, let's set that left foot down to the ground. All the way down, softly, softly. Set the hands down and we lower to the ground. Chaturanga. Move through plank. Belly to earth. Now reach back through both feet. Sensing both knees, both hips. Inhale. Move the heart from the pelvis without leaving the pelvis. Remain right here as you exhale. Stay in cobra. Now inhale, both pelvis and heart. Neither one nor the other, both. Exhaling, lower down, downward dog. Breathing into both shoulders here for a moment. So we're using all of these poses as a way to not only inhabit these various areas of our body, but to inhabit them with some degree of wholeness or equanimity. Okay, now feel the right shoulder, feel, breathe into the left shoulder. And feel when the breath is equally in the left shoulder and the right shoulder. It's kind of balance. Okay? There is a quietude. You notice that? That's really neat. Inhale, step the left foot forward, warrior two. Let's take a quick tour of the core again. So breathing into the pelvis. And we do this little tailbone move. That can just help us get remotely near our pelvis. So to feel the tailbone puts us in the ballpark of pelvis. And breathing between the shoulder blades. Letting that breath wash through the throat and the brain. So the breath that rinses the sacrum feeds the brain. It won't be by force, but by fineness. Extended warrior variation. Inhale the left forearm to the thigh. Passing the right hand behind back. Grabbing onto what you can. Feel the soles of each foot. Can you feel them each simultaneously? There you go, that's it. So you're inhabiting, you're inside each foot equally. Good. Now the knees, the space of the knees. Both simultaneously. There you go. See, you're getting the hang of this. First few reps can always be a little. Both hips. Both shoulders. Can you feel both shoulders without leaving the feet? Good. I'm going to open up that right hand, going right into half moon, if I haven't mistaken. Oop, triangle, you're right. It's like that hand wasn't there. Straighten the left leg, triangle. That's right, I was so kind to come up with a rest pose. That's right. Reach forward through that left hand. Set that left hand down on shin, triangle. Breathing into pelvis and heart. Inhale, let's bring that right hand to the right hip. Half moon. We'll set that left hand down. Right heel hip height. I'm using these regions of the body today. You know, again, we can subdivide consciousness up any old way we want, right? Just like we can slice a pie into 4 slices, 9 slices. So we can subdivide this up any old way we want. I'm choosing 3 today because of their unique flavor. There's a flavor of consciousness when we access these areas. I'm just starting to breathe into 2 slices of the pie, 3 slices of the pie at once. Yeah. Let's very softly inhale the right foot down. Exhaling, let's step back, chaturanga. Cobra, inhale. The head be available to breath. Exhale, lower down, downward dog. Soft neck. It's a simple move we do, wrapping the shoulders. Let's go deeper than the muscles, deeper than the movement. We wrap the shoulders. We got us in the ballpark of the heart. So let's breathe. Again, locating ourselves. We're situated in the core, the heart. We're in both shoulders simultaneously. Interlock warrior. Inhale the right foot forward. As we exhale, sliding that right armpit down, left hand pass behind back. Feel both feet. Feel both knees. You're inside both knees. Now, just for fun, I'm going to inhabit and breathe in to the center of head. Use your ears for reference points. Getting right in between the ears. Midpoint. If you're feeling your left ear, you're feeling your right ear. Feeling them both simultaneously. And release. Inhale. We'll set the hand down. Set the left knee down. Easy twisting lunge. So we put the left knee down, the left hand down. And exhaling, we'll draw the right arm up. Now it's to be expected. You may be already enacting a relaxed neck. So this will just give us a feel for the other side of the neck. Again, feeling the right ear, the left ear. And there's a midpoint. There's a place right in between. I don't pull away from the ears. I'm still inhabiting. I still feel the right ear, the left ear. So as I find that core, that center of my head, I'm in my ears, I'm in the halves of my head simultaneously. I'm fully inhabiting that head space. Do you notice how there's less vying, there's less ping-ponging, there's fewer contractions, there's more free-flowingness when I'm inhabiting a less compartmentalized body? Okay. Isn't that beautiful? It's like, wow, I have access to this now and forever. Inhabiting the left hand and the right hand without pulling out of those ears, without pulling out of that head. And just a fine note for the avid Forrest practitioner. Let's remember, again, my opinion, part of relaxed neck is so that we could inhabit our head and our neck more fully. Something I've maybe observed over time was that relaxed neck, while really great for those muscles and neck injuries and such, may have encouraged a vacating of the head. And I just want to add in that we can inhabit our head. We can feel our brain. We can feel our brain structures. Inhale, let's bring the right hand down. Since we'll still be on this left knee, if you want a little more padding, now's a good time to add it. Boop. Right, splits. Then we'll wriggle that right foot forward. Now, if you're not super warm, I would take a more mild splits. So if I was having a cold day yet, if I was in air conditioning or something, I wouldn't, try to zoom into splits. I might just put my hands down and fold. Okay. If you're in the hot, hot sun and you're dripping sweat, oh man, that is congrats. May your tissues love you. Head into the version of splits that your tissues will accommodate. Now I just did all this head work. I'm just going to keep mentioning, these are the things I notice, just over time and numbers. As we move into splits, just exquisite attention if there's a contraction or a vacating of the head. Again, maybe this is a personal observation. So I just want to be clear that it might be unique to me. But the intelligence, that free-flowing intelligence of inhabiting the headspace, to me seems germane to the interconnectedness of the tissues, like the fascial network, all connectedness of the system, of the organism. So if you get into a deep stretch, just take note. Did I kind of wince? Did I tighten around my eyes, my head? Can I still just as easily inhabit the space of my head? I inhale as draw this right foot back. Very carefully, very smoothly. There's no rush. Now, once that foot is underneath you, vertical splits. So press off that back knee. When you have your footing, when you have your blocks, elevate left leg. Once again, allow the neck and the head to hang. I'm not just dropping them off, but that softness is so that I can inhabit them with fewer restrictions. So I'm reaching through the leg. The legs are vibrant. There's some juice. There's some zest about this leg usage. Breathe that through the brain. There's a flowingness and a vastness and a clarity of intelligence when we inhabit our head. I find this clarity comes through as thinking freely and clearly. All of our mental activities without struggle, without strain, without the hiccups and the stammers of constriction. Spontaneity. There's a quality of spontaneity of intellect. I don't have to manufacture. Inhale, let's set that left foot down, downward dog. Exhaling, let's step that right foot back as well. From downward dog, bend elbows, turbo dog. It's a great time to feel the heart and the head. So felt between the ears. They can feel in and between the shoulders. How can we feel the head, the heart? Can we feel the head without leaving the heart? Can we feel the heart without leaving the head? Do you notice how the clarity of the head gifts its clarity to the heart? And do you notice that warmth, that love of the heart, that coherent, unifying warmth and love of the heart gifts those qualities to the intellect, the head? Here we go. Inhale, step the left foot forward. It's interlock warrior. It's been a while, but it's interlock. Left arm under left leg, right hand behind back. Now, when we release, inhale, set the hands down, the right knee down, easy twisting warrior. Pardon me, easy twisting lunge. So you got the right hand down, the left arm up. Feel the two jaw joints. And feel for balancing your awareness, or to just say it another way, feel, sense the space of your two jaw joints simultaneously. Sense, breathe into your ears. Simultaneously. You notice how you start to situate with more quietude in the body. It's really an exquisite we're not zippering, we're not ping-ponging, we're not. And we just start to kind of quietly exist and sense in and from our core. Exactly. From right between the shoulders. If you need to use your hands, feel those two hands, the space of your right hand on the earth. Feel the space of your left hand somewhere in the air. And balance your feeling awareness through both hands. Through feeling both hands. There you go. There you go. All right, inhale. Let's bring that left hand down. I hope you're getting, these are subtle little shifts, but I hope you're getting that, like, you feel that it gets really, I don't want to just say quiet, but there's a growing, profound stillness that I believe, if I'm reading it correctly, you're each noticing. That's neat. So here we go, splits, and of course we've got a moment here to really sense and be in the head as we're moving into splits. Staying with the breath. The breath can be fine, but let it not disappear. We're still intimately connected through the breath to our core. And inhaling, we'll draw that left foot back. Take your time. Ensure that foot is well under you. And exert a little pressure. Press the back knee up. Vertical splits. Here we go. Now, this embodiment work, so verily emphasize the sensing in the body, right? It's not for the faint of heart. It's because it's true. We start going into this, inevitably, we'll find some uncomfortable artifacts. As you allow the head and the neck to relax, breathe that intensity of legs, that strength, that power, that physical vibrancy of a leg. Breathe that through your whole core. And feel how when that substantiality of the pelvis meets the head, there's a substantiality to this intellect. This free-flowing intellect has a backing. It's like a gold standard behind it. And how intellect disconnected from the legs, it's just kind of airy. you know, that can have a very airy, clear quality, but there you go. There it is. Yeah, you feel that little, it's got like some beef to it, like in a really good way. Inhale, set that right foot down. Oh, there you go. Exhaling, downward dog. We'll step both feet back. One final place to play, and then I promise we'll rest. Inhale, when you step the right foot forward, a couple of things. We'll pat our left knee, and I'm grabbing my block and my roll so that I get a little lunge bench. Now, some people are very flexible, and you may not need the block that I've inserted, but the little coils of my roll are under my right sit bone. So I'm literally sitting on this squish. Okay. All right. Soft, soft. Phew. Okay, left hand grab left foot. I'm leaving the right hand on my leg for balance. If your tissues have been moving a bit, I'll grab from the inside, the big toe side, and I may wrap my fingertips over my toes. Now, what's nice about this bench, this right cheek bench, is I can't slink down. I can't collapse down. So now push, lift. Lift the heart away from that roll. Let the head lift and float from the heart. And just feel if the work we've done so far allows us to kind of thread our breath through the core, through the head, the heart, the pelvis. Make sure we're getting into that back of brain too. And release. Inhale, we'll put that left foot down. We'll move these props. Chaturanga. We'll just do this one pose on the other side. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Right, inhale, step left foot forward. Right knee to go on cushion. Props to go under left hip. Again, I'm using a block on the bottom and my roll cylindrically under my left cheek. Okay. Right hand grab right foot. And if you're having a flexible moment, you can wrap around, pulling that heel right near the butt. And release. Inhale, setting right foot down. And do one final chaturanga, hands to ground. Exhale. Step back, lower. Inhale, come up, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. And gently set the knees down. Let's have a seat. Let's go right over left shoelace, or whatever's the most comfortable. I just want to, knee pile is good too. And just one more tour. So I can breathe into the center of head. If I can't find the center, I can use my ears as reference points. I can feel the left ear, feel the right ear. Feel them both simultaneously. And from the head, without leaving, without vacating the head, feel for breathing into the head and the heart. Now, here's the most advanced pose of the day. Without vacating head or heart, switch the cross of your legs. Aha! Breathing into the head, the heart, and the pelvis. Pelvis, the heart, the head. Right. Second advanced pose of the day. I dare you to move from your core to Shavasana. When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side. And help yourself up. We've arrived. Namaste.